Good afternoon and welcome to the September 12th, 2022 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led today by Commissioner Regina Hill. Commissioner.
Please bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for this day and for your abundant love that is evident among your people. Thank you for allowing us, the leaders of this city, the mayor and my fellow commissioners, to unite together on one accord to conduct business regarding matters that concern our beautiful city we call Orlando. May you continue to bless us with the wisdom to lead, the direction to guide, and the knowledge to make decisions for the best interests of our residents and our community. Dear Lord, may you bless us with strength and courage to be the best versions of ourselves, not for ourselves, but the city of Orlando, the state of Florida, and this United States of America, and above all, your heavenly kingdom. Now, we humbly thank you for granting us this opportunity to convene here once again. Let us never take for granted that you have divinely placed us here to work for others as caretakers of your people. God, we honor you and we give you thanks for your continued blessings and your hands of protection over each and every one of us. In Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan? Here. Commissioner Hill?
here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First order of business is consideration of minutes from the
So
workshop,
move.
agenda review, and city council meetings of August 15th. Motion by Commissioner Hill,
Second.
second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. So that brings us to awards, presentations, and recognitions. And I want to call attention to the fact that we are in Hispanic, or soon will be in Hispanic Heritage Month, which recognizes the heritage, culture, and contributions of Hispanic Americans to our nation state and our city. And I want to thank our city staff for planning out the Hispanic Heritage Month events that we are supporting. I want to call on Luis Martinez from the Office of Multicultural Affairs to give us an overview of all of the happenings during this month.
Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer, City Commissioners, and our residents. On Hispanic Heritage Month, our nation recognizes the cultural and tradition of U.S. residents who trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, and the Spanish-speaking countries from Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. To celebrate this great month, the City of Orlando will be hosting several activities for our community, including an art exhibition at City Hall's Terrace Gallery that we will inaugurate on September 16th, displaying art pieces from Central Florida's Hispanic visual artists, and a community celebration event on September 29th at Camping World Stadium, where our community will be gathering together with Hispanic food, music, and entertainment. We're looking forward to these great events and hope you all will be able to join us. Thank you.
So I have a proclamation that I would like to read. Whereas the City of Orlando is proud to join the National Celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, and whereas this year's Hispanic Heritage Month national theme focuses on inclusion, encouraging us to ensure all voices are represented to help build stronger communities and a stronger nation. And whereas Hispanic Americans have had a lasting impact on our country, state, and city, and whereas during this month we learn of cultures that have helped shape our country, reminding us that cultural heritage is something that should be recognized, celebrated, and shared. And whereas we celebrate the histories, cultures, and contributions of Hispanic Americans, the City of Orlando reaffirms its commitment to embracing diversity and inclusion. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, and the entire Orlando City Council do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Orlando. And I look forward to seeing you at the many events. Okay, let's move into the mayor's.
Mayor, we would like a group picture with you, City Commissioners, and our Hispanic Heritage Month Planning Committee, if you don't mind, please.
Let's do that.
Committee members, can you please join us for the group picture? Thank you.
Come on, do the Hispanic. I have several items. Last night was the evening of 9/11. So Orlando firefighters and Orlando police officers paid tribute to the almost 3,000 lives that were lost 21 years ago on the attacks on 9/11 in New York, D.C., and Pennsylvania. Honor Guard members from both departments lit 343 red candles and 60 blue candles outside of Station 1 to honor the courageous fallen first responders. Also, we want to invite our community to honor our United States military prisoners of war. Next Friday, the 23rd at 10:30 a.m., we'll be having our 2022 POW/MIA recognition ceremony at the Dr. Phillips Center. Our keynote speaker will be Stephen Grubb, who's a proud Gold Star son of United States Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Wilmer Newland Grubb, who served in Vietnam. The entire Grubb family have been activists in the movement to honor those who've been captive in return. I invite everybody to attend at 10:30 on Friday. Also this week, we launched last week Orlando Connect, which is our latest public safety effort to partner with the public. The new program is, in essence, a 21st century neighborhood watch and allows residents to register their cameras and businesses to actually integrate their camera systems with our public safety cameras. So anybody that would like to participate in that can go to orlando.gov/Orlando Connect. And then I just want to mention a couple of items on the agenda. B2 is with a contract to further expand our partnership with Aspire Health Partners to enhance our community response teams. That was launched last year in March of 2021, and our trained professionals have responded to a little over 1,300 calls for service, largely those of residents in mental crisis or attempted suicide or suffering from substance abuse. So we will extend the program another 18 months and add additional responders and a full-time clinical position in the OPD 911 Communications Center. Item H1 through 10 are CDBG funding block grants to support partner agencies and benefit low and moderate income residents. And then under the CRA, we have additional funding for the healthcare for the Center for Homeless to continue funding the HOPE team, which does outreach to individuals experiencing homelessness generally in our downtown and the Paramore area. With that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda, which is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our council members an opportunity to comment on the consent agenda and update you on important happenings from the district. We rotate the order that we do that. First up today is Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon. Also, I'd like to state a few of the things that we do have on the agenda, and that's on the second read, number 6, where we will be renaming Marquise Court there in District 5 to Pender's Way, which is a iconic leader that recently passed, Father Nelson Pender, that has really been a civil rights pioneer and just a community bridge builder. And I'd like to acknowledge Mrs. Fannie Williams, if you could stand, that led the way on the renaming of this street and have put in a lot of work. So thank you, Ms. Fannie. And I also like to congratulate all of the recipients for the CDBG funding. Thank you all for your labor of love and just boots on the ground and doing the yeoman's work for our community. And thank you, Orrin, you and your team for leading the way with those efforts. On Thursday, on 8/18, I greeted the Valencia Downtown Campus faculty and staff with their welcome back to the Future Fall celebration, where all of the students there came back on campus to housing and to start the fall semester. Mayor, when I went out there, it was the vision that you entailed many moons ago and this council supported, with it becoming an ecosystem of education, and to see all of those students and their families from all over the nation convening right there in Creative Village of all diasporas and ethnicities and cultures all together there in that facility, going upstairs to get their rooms. It was a proud moment for all of us. So congratulations to Dr. Eugene Jones, Elizabeth Grace, Master Chef Alex Erdman was there with their School of Culinary Arts, which they did not make me a culinary cook, but they gave me an apron. So I appreciate that. On Saturday, 8/20, I presented in behalf of Mayor Buddy Dyer and this council a proclamation at Dexter's Birdland on their first anniversary in Paramore, which this council provided startup funding, and they're thriving and has truly became a great community partner there in the Paramore area when it comes to the restoration of families and businesses and ministry of helping those that might be having challenges there with feedings and a multitude of things. So I know that's your Fred, you're Omega, he's Omega, and I know you all have a special oath of taking care of the community and service. So thank you, Dexter Birdland, for truly building that building over there when we start talking about community building. On Saturday, 8/27, I was able to join our Parks and Recreation team and the Callahan Neighborhood Historic Squad there at Callahan Community Center, where they celebrated Jones High, which was the first Jones High School was there at the Callahan Center. And we had the alumni band. They shared fond memories. We had those students that attend Callahan actually elementary. And it's just an important part of history there in Callahan. And also in my life where, as a latchkey kid, when my mother had to go work several jobs, that the city of Orlando had a community center, small building there that really provided a safe haven, which it does now, continue to do there in the Paramore area. Admiral Burrell, which was a Navy SEAL Vice Admiral, he was there to do the keynote speech, and Dr. Alzo Reddick, along with alumni Josephine Anderson. On 8/30, I joined Mayor Dyer and council at Luminary Green for its first phase of its grand opening, along with Thomas Chapman, Lisa Early, Commissioner Stewart, Craig Usler, Brooke Myers, and Brooke Bonnet. Thank you for your leadership, Brooke, on that project. I am excited and extremely pleased about that ribbon cutting because it's yet another beautification here in the city of Orlando for all, but especially there in my beloved Paramore and District 5. On 8/31, I was able to give remarks and participate in the Orlando Magic Advent Health new practice facility and orthopedic center, which has a state-of-the-art, I would say, sports training facility when it comes to health and wellness. Something that's special about that project there, when we start talking about affordable health care, it's not just going to be for elite athletes throughout the nation, but the Orlando Magic has truly been a great partner. Mayor Dyer was there also and has led the way on this project, but making it a community project where they had over 55% of minority participation. And they did not have to do that because it's a private venture, but they was strategic in doing it and making sure it was an all-inclusive project and primarily focused on businesses there in the Paramore area. But Seven-Day Adventists and Orlando Magic have gone a step farther when we know insurance is unaffordable, especially for the low income. When we start talking about specialized medicine, they are offering free or sliding scale services for those that might need specialty treatment when it comes to orthopedics, right there at that facility that's being seen by a Yale physician that hailed from the state of New York, whose father was a mechanic and mother was a maid, and has matriculated himself through the educational system to do great work, but now coming to a community similar to what he grew up in to help give back to that community. So I am eternally grateful for this new beacon there in the Paramore area through the benevolence of the COO, Alex Martin, especially Dan DeVos and the DeVos family and Advent Health. So thank you, and thank you, Mayor Dyer, for your continued leadership there in Paramore and keeping your promise. Watch me by what I do in Paramore. I never forget those words. On 9/7, a 3-year project that was finally unveiled with Crew Orlando, Still I Rise, which is commercial women in real estate. They did a mural there that was inspired by the Jim Crow era of the Green Books, and it's dedicated to great men and women that helped build Paramore, and by its extension of the city of Orlando. From household names like Ray Charles, that's featured there. Also some of the tours and local legends like the midwife that hail out of District 6, Miss Mary Johnson, that birthed over, oh my God, actually delivered over 2,000 youth there, babies there in the west side of Orlando. And of course, Father Nelson Pender. On 9/7, I presented a resolution for another great community leader there on the west side of Orlando, District 5, Mr. Ernest Bradley Jr., that was a stalwart of our community who will be missed. A side note about him, he grew up in Lou Gardens. His father was the caretaker there in Lou Gardens for many, many years. And it was just great to see. So if you go there, you'll see the handiworks of the beginning of Lou Gardens through his father's labor of love and his mother. And upcoming events, well, there was another event that I attended last evening with Commissioner Sheehan and also Commissioner Burns, and Commissioner Ortiz was a huge supporter and has been with the Divas in Concert reboot by the Steinway Society. And they had Carol Stein, Jackie Jones, Michelle Melhot, Michelle Amato, and Susie Park, accompanied by the Carol Stein Jazz Quartet. It was just a beautiful event. And Commissioner Sheehan, I know you do a lot of things for the community that goes unnoticed and you don't brag about. But Commissioner Sheehan last night donated 20 keyboards for kids to take home to practice piano, because this Steinway Society give free piano lessons to underprivileged kids here in the city of Orlando for the last 16 years. They also receive a Mayor Buddy Dyer's matching grant to help these kids, and it's much more than just learning the piano. It helps them with cognitive skills, also their learning and discipline and just leadership. And it's just a great organization that Gary and Kathy Grimes have started, and their commitment to the arts, but more so disadvantaged kids with giving them music and life. So thank you, Commissioner Sheehan, for your generous donation. Even though you're a little upset with me right now, I appreciate it. And with that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, we'll move on to Commissioner Burns.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, fellow commissioners. As Commissioner Hill mentioned, I just wanted to acknowledge that our community celebrated the life of Mr. Ernest Bradley, an influential educator in our community, served as the principal of Carver Middle School, was my principal when I attended Carver Middle School, now Carver Junior High, now Carver Middle School, and the sports complex is named Ernest Bradley Jr. Gymnasium. So we just want to send condolences to his wife, Miss Bradley, and their entire family. Also last month, the mayor and I took a trip to Art's Sandwich Shop to help them celebrate 50 years of excellent food service to Orlando community and District 6. Thanks to the Atkins family, including Sybil and Mike, for opening their doors and allowing us to spend a few minutes with them to learn more about the history of arts. And I think, Mayor, we shared some good food. I know Mayor is trying to keep it light. I think you all split a cheesesteak in 3. So that was interesting. But thank you again, Mayor, for joining me. Also, we named Art's Sandwich Shop as the Business of the Month for last month. And we're hoping that they will continue to serve our community, and we're looking for them to be around for another 50 years, especially as I go there 2 or 3 times a week. This past Saturday, I hosted my biannual District 6 community meeting at our brand new Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center. Thanks to Public Works Code Enforcement for coming in and engaging with our residents and answering questions and hearing their ideas and suggestions. Also, thank you to Chief Eric Smith, Chief Salazar, and Getleen from our Neighborhood Relations Division, as well as we had a representative from Orange County government to stop by and talk to our residents. I also wanted to mention with the new Grand Avenue Neighborhood Center, Commissioner Sheehan, I know you probably already know this, but the studio opens, the Pottery Studio officially opens today, September the 12th, and classes began on October the 10th. So we're all excited about this great resource in our community that will serve our entire city of Orlando. And I'm looking forward to getting in some of those classes sometime soon. Also this Friday, I will host my the Children's Celebrity Golf Tournament at Hawks Landing Golf Course at the Marriott. This tournament is to raise money for scholarships and community programs for children and seniors throughout our district. So I'd just like to say thank you to my fellow commissioners for supporting this effort and helping us send more kids to college. This year's tournament will also be used to further assist My Brother's Keeper program and keep up the great work that they're doing in District 6 and across our great city. But if you're interested in playing this year, you'll have to wait until next year because we are totally sold out. So we're excited that we're sold out, and again, excited about the money that will be raised to help further the educational opportunities of our children. Also, as Commissioner Hill mentioned, I'd like to say congratulations to the Steinway Society for the Divas in Concert reboot. I understand it was a great show, and everyone who attended had a ball. Also, Saturday, September the 21st, we'll be hosting the 19th Annual Caribbean Health Summit happening in District 6 at the Smith Center. We're excited to partner with Dr. Francois and the Center for Multicultural Wellness and Prevention for this year's fair. Should you have any questions about the summit, please reach out to our office at 246-2006. Mayor, on the agenda, I'd just like to express my support for items F1 through F8, the Community Development Block Grant Funding, and just say thank you to those wonderful organizations who are doing great work in our city on behalf of some of our most disadvantaged community members. Also, I'd just like to express my support for items B2, the extended contract for Aspire Health Partners for the alternative mental health response pilot. I personally have been approached by family members who had individuals to receive some assistance through this program. So we're excited that this program will be extended, again, furthering the mental health support that's so much needed here in our communities. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Move on to Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got a lot to talk about on the agenda today, so I'll be brief and refer everybody to my website for issues both past and future in District 1. But I do want to take just a second to give some thanks to a group that's here, not for this purpose, to present something else, but that's our friends at GOA. And Kevin and Kathleen and Carolyn are here today. But on Thursday night, I was fortunate enough to go to a reception for the new Terminal C at the airport. And you've heard the term a crown jewel. Well, I'll tell you, folks, it is a crown jewel for the city of Orlando. It is a beautiful facility. Thank you all very much for the reception and the hospitality. But it'll be a great opportunity for us to make not only a first, but a lasting impression on visitors as well as residents as they come and go from Orlando. So congrats to the team, a lot of hard work, but thanks for letting me be part of it, but well done. So Mayor, I'll talk about the agenda items as they come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. On Thursday, September 1st, I attended the Prospera Success Stories event. Thank you to Prospera for including me in this great event that showcased all of the hard work of Hispanic-owned small business in our region. On Friday, September 9th, I attended the CFHLA Patriot Day Remembrance Breakfast to honor those who lost their lives and remember the heroic efforts of all first responders on September 11th. 21 years have passed since 2,977 people lost their lives in one of the worst attacks in our nation, in American history. September 11 was a devastating fate for thousands, and we will choose to never forget the sacrifices that were made and the lives that were lost. The Orlando Fire Department last night had a great, and I mean a great event. Commissioner Stewart was there for us, the chief, commemorating, honoring the lives of the 343 firefighters that lost their lives while saving others. I hope everyone in our nation is still remembering that and honoring those firefighters that lost their life. I'm voting no on agenda item C3, specifically District 3 and District 4. MPL 10051, Rosart, and District 4 GMP 2022-10027, and whatever else accompanies it, West Cayley. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, and Commissioner, as to 10051, we deferred that during the action we took was to defer it to the next meeting.
Earlier? Good.
Okay, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor, and let me
offer some congratulations and condolences. A thank you to those who showed up last Saturday. We had an event over at the Ag Center at Edgewater High School. We had about 100 volunteers come by, and we did a green up. Now, it started off with the idea of having Orlando Green Up do something, and they did, and we appreciate their leadership, especially Avery and Tommy and Anton. They were wonderful to work with. The entire Edgewater team was there. Jessica Richards led the Interact and student government. The tennis team was there, the golf team was there, the football team was there, Honor Society was there, and the volleyball team was there. Now, in addition to that, the UCF nurses were there to hydrate and make sure everybody had plenty of sunscreen, which I thought was kind of a great idea. And then, of course, it was hosted by the College Park Rotary as well. So I think they all came because at the end, John Rivers brought over from Four Roots and the Four Rivers, brought over barbecue. And they ate for about 45 minutes, and it was great. And so I want to say thank you, everybody. We've got another work party planned in about a month and a half to kind of clean up that area. That area will end up having about 3 or 4 goats. It'll have about 70 chickens. They take the chickens, and the Best Buddies group, the eggs get hatched, and they take those, and Four Roots buys them and sells them over at the Four Roots Farmers Market. It's just a neat little opportunity. We planted blueberries, we planted huckleberry, we planted some other fruit-bearing trees, some bananas, as well as just spruced up the entire area. It was a great thing. People looked around and said, how'd you get this many people here? I just kept saying, free barbecue. So it works. I want to say a special thanks to Chief Salazar and Chief Smith about last night. I appreciate y'all continuing that tradition. It's important that we never forget. And it's important to me. I haven't missed one since I've been a commissioner, so that puts it 16 years in a row. And I just simply don't want to miss that because it means too much to our entire community. So thank you for continuing to do that. I appreciate it. A couple of things coming up. The College Park Neighborhood Association is meeting tonight, and there's a football game on Friday night between Jones and Edgewater, and so we've got another friendly wager. This time I hope it's not quite as expensive. We're taking the model from Mayor Dyer about the flag between the two cities. Thank you for doing that, Mayor. So we're just going to, the losing team will wear the opponent's colors at the next meeting. Is that okay with y'all? I've got plenty of red and white. I'll make sure I have that for you. So you've got it. That game is, it is on Friday night. Look, I tease about them a lot, but I'll tell you, these football games, these community high school events are really ways that communities identify themselves. And I think it's great, and I'm honored to do that. So I'll see you at the game. On the agenda, let me congratulate those in the community development block grants, F1 through F8. That money, of course, is pass-through money from us, but it's money we get an opportunity to have a direct impact on our community. And I'm so gracious, I'm so grateful for that. Mayor, I know we moved the 10051. I'm going to vote no on C3 on the West Cayley mixed use, the 2 GMPs and the zoning as well, and hope that comes back to us in a way that we can do something about affordable housing. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda today, I also concur with continuing the Aspire Mental Health Counselor Dispatch. I think that's been a very successful program. Item B11, we have the Hackney Street decorative lighting in Lancaster Park. That's very important to them. And I'd also like to address item C3 on MPB that some of my colleagues have expressed their displeasure with and voting no on. And I'd just like to say that, you know, I take my job very, very seriously as a commissioner. I've worked on a neighborhood improvement district, gotten support from the business community. We've done a neighborhood improvement district. We have a special plan that we worked on in the Soto area. Again, with no assistance and apparently no reading from my colleagues. You know, we've been trying to do redevelopment in this area that's a challenged area, that's an industrial area. And this is one of the catalytic projects. This this West Cayley project to do 856 units of apartments. The issue that I have, I've been, you know, folks say I don't support affordable housing. That's not right. My problem with the way that we've been doing affordable housing in a piecemeal method on this dais is that we do not have standards. We do not have the percentages based on the density bonuses. They were even trying to figure out how many units would be affordable from the dais as opposed to working with the developer or even telling with the developer what the rules are. Who's going to monitor the units for compliance? Who's going to make sure that they're actually the number of units? We don't have a way to do that. What's considered the affordability rate? We don't have an affordability rate that we're making, that we have an issue with, or we're not putting forward rules on. No rules, no regulation. We're just going to throw it up in the air because, you know, we're going to beat our chest and talk about it. I have a problem with that. I don't like doing things. I'm a process person. I want to make sure we have rules that we can follow, and I support affordable housing 1,000%, but I don't think this is the way to do it. I think we need an affordable housing ordinance. I feel very, very strongly about that. We have to have the rules before we can enforce them. Again, we can give speeches, we can give impassioned pleas, but until we have an affordable housing ordinance, this is not fair, I don't feel, and I think we should do things fairly, and we should have a process to do that before we implement that. Now, if someone wants to do that in their district, that's one thing, but again, I feel very strongly that we should have the rules in place before we put the responsibility in place, and I don't believe we should do it this way. So I would welcome an affordable housing ordinance that we can do fairly across the board citywide. I think that's the fair way to handle it. But I don't want to be painted as someone who does not support affordable housing. I do. This particular project is the first project in an industrial area with a view of a recycle yard. This is a challenge project from word go. And I think putting more restrictions on them is going to make it even more difficult to do it. But, you know, we'll see what happens moving forward. But I don't do anything lightly. I don't do anything. I work on every one of these projects in my district very, very closely. But I do think that if we're going to be serious about affordable housing, let's bring an ordinance. Let's do it citywide. Let's do it fairly. Other than that, I will move approval of the agenda today.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. We mentioned that item C3-10051 was deferred during the course of agenda review this morning. So with that, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries. Okay, let's move on to the CRA. I'm going to recess without objection the City Council meeting, convene the CRA meeting. Thomas, I think I can probably handle number 1, 2, and 3 while you're coming up. So number 1's accepting CRA Advisory Board meeting minutes from July 27th. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. 2 is CRA meeting minutes from August 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. 3 is approving DDB's CRA Advisory Board Budget Workshop meeting minutes from August 17th.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Now, number 4, Thomas.
Okay, and thank you and good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. The balance of the items here are all pertinent to the fiscal year 22-23 CRA budget, which we have reviewed with you in briefings. Item number 4 is adopting actual Community Redevelopment Agency or CRA budget and budget resolution. And the CRA Advisory Board recommends that adoption, and staff is requesting that the CRA adopt the proposed fiscal year 22-23 Community Redevelopment Agency budget and budget resolution, and authorization for the chair and the executive director to execute the
Move
resolution.
to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 5.
Thank you. Item number 5 is approving the FY 22-23 City Services Agreement between the City of Orlando and the CRA. This agreement outlines the terms under which the city provides professional and administrative services to the CRA. Again, the advisory board recommends approval, and staff is requesting CRA approval of the City Services Agreement for FY 22-23 between the City of Orlando and the Community Redevelopment Agency, and authorizing the chair and executive director to execute the agreement, subject to the review and approval by the City Attorney's Office.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hill,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 6.
Item number 6 is approving the Downtown Orlando Incorporated funding agreement, also known as the Downtown Orlando Partnership, or DOP. The DOP is a 501c6 organization founded in 1961, which has more than 200 corporate members and whose mission is to enhance downtown business and community relationships through collaborative events and initiatives. The DOT continues to evolve and progress in its role, assisting the CRA in meeting its redevelopment area plan. And again, the CRA Advisory Board has recommended approval, and staff is requesting CRA approval of the funding agreement between the CRA and the Downtown Orlando, Inc. in the amount of $75,000 for the fiscal year 22-23, and authorizing the execution of the agreement by the chair and the executive director, subject to the review and approval by the City Attorney's Office.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 7.
Thank you, sir. Item 7 is approving the FY 22-23 Downtown Development Board Community Redevelopment Agency Cost Share Agreement. This agreement outlines the terms under which the DDB and the CRA will share administrative costs for the fiscal year 22-23. Again, the advisory board recommends approval, and staff is requesting the CRA approval of the cost share agreement of the fiscal year 22-23 between the Downtown Development Board and the Community Redevelopment Agency, and authorization for the chair and executive director to execute the agreement, subject to review and approval by the City Attorney's Office.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 8.
All right. Number 8 is approving homeless outreach funding agreement. The Healthcare Center for the Homeless Incorporated, or ACCH, provides outreach services within the downtown CRA. This agreement continues the collaboration between the CRA, Homeless Services Network, or HSN, as well as ACCH, in order to retain the services of homeless outreach specialists in the downtown Orlando area, and provides $67,200 in CRA funding to that end. Again, the CRA Advisory Board recommends approval, and staff is requesting CRA approval of the Homeless Outreach Funding Agreement, subject to review and approval by the City Attorney's Office, and authorizing execution of the agreement by the chair and the executive director.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Hill. Discussion.
Yes, Mayor, I just wanted to state that I'll be abstaining from this vote because I serve as the CEO of the Healthcare Center for the Homeless, although none of this funding goes to support my salary. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk. Okay, further discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 9.
Number 9 is approving Seniors First, Inc., a senior transportation project agreement for FY 22-23. This agreement provides transportation services to residents of downtown senior housing complexes. Again, the CRA Advisory Board recommends approval, and staff is requesting CRA approval of the agreement for a period of October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023, for up to a total amount of $61,413.86, and authorizing the chair and executive director to execute the agreement, subject to review and approval by the City Attorney's Office.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 10.
All right, and finally, number 10 is approving Starter Studio funding agreement. As you know, in conjunction with UCF, Starter Studio manages an accelerator program within downtown, which features minimum of 2 cohorts of up to 16 companies on an annual basis. They also provide seed funding for certain second stage participants of their accelerator program in amounts of ranging from $25,000 to $225,000 annually. Again, this advisory board recommends approval, and staff is requesting CRA approval of the Starter Studio funding agreement to contribute $125,000 to Starter Studio, subject to review and approval of the City Attorney's Office, and authorize the Chair and the Executive Director to execute the funding agreement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Stewart. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Thomas, any further business come before the CRA today?
There's none, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll stand adjourned, and we will convene the Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors meeting.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. We have 2 items for you here today. Your first item is the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District funding agreement with the Orlando South Downtown Main Street. This is for $30,000, and it helps us achieve joint goals and objectives that is in both of our master plans within the district. The Main Street provides a quarterly report to the NID Advisory Board so that we can see how those funds are being spent to achieve the goals and objectives of the NID.
Okay, are there questions? Is there a motion?
Move it. Second. Sorry, so moved.
Motion by
Can't move it and second it.
Mr. Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
The second item is the fiscal year 2022-2023 city service agreement between the city and the Neighborhood Improvement District. This is for $26,389. This provides certain services to the NID to help it do its functions so that it can meet state requirements and move projects forward.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Any further business for the NID?
That'll be all, Mr. Chairman.
Then we'll stand adjourned and we will reconvene our city council meeting. And that brings us to a hearing for the budget of the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority for fiscal year 2023. And I'm going to open the public hearing with respect to GOA's preliminary budget for fiscal year 2023. We are joined today by our new executive director, Kevin Tebow. Kevin, welcome. Kathleen Sharman, Chief Financial Officer. Carolyn Fennell. Carolyn, I don't actually know what your title is. Queen of everything. Everything else. Something like that.
Absolutely.
They've all been very busy getting ready to open Terminal C on the 20th of September. We've had several community receptions. I know the press has been invited to a number of things to have an opportunity to see the terminal. But you know how things go in the last 2 weeks while you're trying to open up a brand new facility that we've been working on for a decade, I think. But Commissioner Gray was right. It is an amazing facility, and I had an opportunity to say at the reception the other night that we have taken to doing everything we do here in Orlando in a world-class fashion. And when people fly into Orlando to come visit you, you are going to be very proud when they come and say, wow, we've never seen an airport like this, a terminal like this. So it is a great happening in our community, and we look forward to flying on JetBlue for one of those early flights to somewhere. Okay, so Kathleen is here to give us a presentation. On August 17th, 2022, the GOA Board adopted a resolution approving its fiscal year 2023 preliminary budget. The preliminary budget for the Orlando International Airport is $683,585,000, and the preliminary budget for the Orlando Executive Airport is $4,765,000. In accordance with Section 12 of the City Charter, GOA has submitted the preliminary budget to the City Council for review during a public hearing. This hearing is informational. The Council will not take action, but we will give the public an opportunity to comment. Kathleen? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. And as the mayor said, I'm Kathleen Sharman. I'm the CFO of Orlando International Airport. And on behalf of our chairman, Carson Good, and our CEO, Kevin Depot, I am pleased to present a summary of the Greater Orlando Aviation's Authority budget for fiscal year 2022 and 2023. The mayor just talked about why we're here. This is part of the public hearing process, and it's required by statute and city code, and it has to take place before the board takes final action, which is scheduled for our next board meeting, September 21st. This budget focuses on our exciting future as we add resources back to accommodate the expected growth in passenger traffic as we return to 2019 levels and open the new Terminal C facility, which is scheduled to open in about 8 days, 3 hours, and 25 minutes. The budget provides the resources to deliver safe, secure, world-class customer service to the residents of and visitors to Central Florida who use our beautiful airport. And as Commissioner Gray and the mayor said, it really will make a lasting impression on our customers. We're very excited. We're doing all this while continuing to keep our rates and charges to the airlines as reasonable as possible and still meet the financial obligations of the authority. Our cost per enplaned passenger resulting from this budget is projected to be below the median for all U.S. airports. We are proposing, as the mayor said earlier, $683.5 million in total revenues and $464.6 million in operating expenses for fiscal year 2023. You will note that there are no local tax dollars used to fund the airport's operation and maintenance budget. Our airline, the money that comes from our airline rates and charges is the blue piece of that pie chart up there, about 46%. And the majority of our revenue, though, comes from our non-aeronautical sources, the largest of which is rental cars at just over $100 million and parking and ground transportation just under $100 million, followed by concessions at about $67 million. With respect to operating expenses, the largest percentage of the budget is maintenance and janitorial at 28%, personnel services at 24%, and then professional services and contracts between 15 and 13% of the budget. Here's what the total budget looks like compared with last year. Total revenues of $683 million are up from $578 million, largely due to increase in passenger activity. Operating and maintenance expenses, including reserve requirements, is budgeted at $479 million, an increase in expenses of $87 million, and $10 million increase in operation and maintenance reserve from 2022. And as we move out of the COVID pandemic, we are experiencing a new set of economic challenges, in particular, unprecedented increases in the cost of materials, supplies, and labor. These circumstances, as well as the costs relating to opening new Terminal C in about a week, are reflected in this 23% increase in operating and maintenance budget. And only about a third of the increase is related to the operations of supporting Terminal C. The key takeaway here is you can see remaining revenues, that almost $77 million, of which $15.9 million is projected to be shared with our participating airlines to help reduce their costs pursuant to our 2019 revenue sharing agreement. The rest of the remaining revenues will be used to fund a portion of our capital program and fund our heavy capital maintenance and rehabilitation program to keep our assets in a state of good repair. And all legal debt service coverage requirements are projected to be met under this budget. I would like to now turn to Orlando's original airport, the Orlando Executive Airport, which is our designated reliever general aviation airport. Here's a summary of the budget. You can see that it's balanced and that thanks to the COVID relief funds from the CARES Act that are still available to us, we will not need to tap into our fund balance to balance this budget. So, in summary, these budgets are fiscally responsible, focusing our resources on using CARES grant programs at Orlando Executive Airport to reimburse labor costs, making more money available in future years to focus on commercial development. And for Orlando International Airport, funding staff and support services to support the return of passenger traffic to our 2019 levels, as well as fund the opening and the operations of Terminal C, providing our customers with a world-class experience which goes even beyond the Orlando experience, while keeping our rates as low as possible to encourage additional air service that will bring both businesses and leisure travelers back to the region, ultimately creating more business for our non-airline partners and for the greater Central Florida community. As the mayor said, our CEO, Kevin Thibault, is also here in attendance, and at this point, we would be happy to answer any questions or comments, and thank you very much for your attention.
Council, any questions? I don't have any cards, Madam Clerk, from the public requesting to speak.
No, Mayor.
Then we will close the public hearing, and we thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
That will bring us, Kevin, thank you for being here. Joe, thank you for being here. Okay, we will move to hearings, ordinances, second reading, number 1, Madam Clerk. Oh, Carson, I didn't see, were you there? Carson, I didn't see you sitting there, sorry about that. And our board chairman, Carson, good. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-37, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to change future land use map designation for certain land generally located at the northwest corner of East Princeton Street and Formosa Avenue, comprised of 0.55 acres of land, more or less, from residential low intensity to office low intensity, amending the growth management plan, future land use map, figure LU-2, Part C, to remove the property from sub-area policy S.4.2, changing the property zoning designation from 1 to 2 family residential zoning district with the traditional city and Wekiva overlays to the office and residential zoning district with the traditional city and Wekiva overlays, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, I was reading farther down.
That's okay, Commissioner. Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. I don't have any requests for comment. Discussion among commissioners. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-40, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the Curry Ford Special Plan, creating Section 62.411 Orlando City Code to establish the Curry Ford Special Plan zoning overlay district, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for legislative findings, and for codification, severability, correction of Scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hill. I don't have any requests from the public to speak. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 3, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-46, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the management of late-night uses, sound attenuation, and parking facilities within downtown Orlando, amending Chapter 5 of the Orlando City Code entitled Code Enforcement, amending Chapter 33 of the Orlando City Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages, amending Chapter 42 of the Orlando City Code entitled Noise, amending Chapter 61, Part 3 of the Land Development Code entitled Parking and Loading, amending Chapter 62, Part 5 of the Land Development Code entitled Design Standards in AC-3A District, amending Chapter 65, Part 5A of the Land Development Code entitled General Requirements, providing compliance schedule for parking facilities, providing legislative findings, and for codification, correction of Scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Well, if the, let's, this is the one we discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're postponing.
So if there's, we can do it that way. We can either do it without objection or make a motion, so we can make a motion. So let me read the whole thing real quick, so it's in the record. I'm going to ask for a motion to continue this hearing till September 26th and direct staff based on stakeholder input to modify section 65.544 of the ordinance to clarify that, number 1, the requirement to obtain a special use permit applies when a permit to when there is a permit to construct a substantial improvement rather than just any permit. And two, the planning officials shall use the special use permit, shall issue the special use permit if the criteria under review considerations are met, but has discretion as limited by the ordinance to impose conditions on that. So with those modifications, the ordinance will come back on the 26th. Is there a motion? To
Motion
that
to
extent?
move into the
Motion
next
by
council.
Commissioner Hill. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 4.
Ordinance number 2022-48, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to change the future land use map designation from certain land generally located west of Fruitman Boulevard, south of Prince Hall Boulevard, east of Mary Church Court, and north of L.B. McLeod Road, comprised of 2.165 acres of land more or less, from residential low intensity to industrial, changing the property zoning designation from one-family residential to industrial park, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I don't have any requests to testify from the public. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 5.
Ordinance number 2022-49, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located north of Orange Center Boulevard between South Goldwyn Avenue and South John Young Parkway, comprised of 2.22 acres of land more or less, from Planned Development Zoning District with the Washington Shores Special Plan Overlay District to 1 to 5 Family Residential Zoning District with the Washington Shores Special Plan Overlay District, amending the Boca Club Apartments Planned Development Zoning District to amend the legal description, providing for amendment of the city's official zoning maps, providing for permit disclaimer, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Sheehan. I have no cards requesting to testify. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 6.
Ordinance number 2022-51, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to a street name change, renaming Marquise Court, which is described in the plat of Clear Lake Cove according to the plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 1, page 88 of the Public Records of Orange County, Florida, generally located between Monte Carlo Trail and Piedmont Street to Nelson Pender Circle, directing amendments to the official maps of the City of Orlando, Florida, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Burns. I have no cards, but Commissioner Hill, would you like to comment? Just on the name change?
I'll leave it to you, Mayor.
Okay, well, you did comment during agenda review, so
Yes, sir.
this is honoring Father Pender, and how appropriate. Hopefully, we have the street signs already printed, so we can go out there and put them up. But as of this moment, when we vote, it will be officially renamed Nelson Pender Circle. So congratulations.
And I think, Ms. Fanny, I think you have a tentative date for the celebration. Is that correct?
October 1st. I will plan on being there. Okay, so all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. That was fun for that. Okay, number 7.
Ordinance number 2022-52, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to digital billboards, amending Chapter 64, Part 3, Section 64.277 of the Land Development Code to update the incentive billboard list, clarifying terms, providing legislative findings, and for codification, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Does on the floor.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Stewart. I do have a request to testify. Madam Clerk, via Zoom, Rosemary Huffman. Do we have Ms. Huffman present for Zoom? Madam Clerk, I see her on my screen. Ms. Huffman, you need to unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, speak up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Perfect.
Are we ready?
We are ready. You have 3 minutes.
All right. Good afternoon. I am Rosemary Huffman for Colonial LLC, 3100 East Colonial Drive in Orlando. Thank you, Mayor Dyer, commissioners, and staff for the opportunity to speak to Ordinance 2022-52. Along with Mr. Burton, we support removal of billboards in Main Street areas, and so far, no digital billboards have been located in Main Street districts. Digital billboards are of singular distinction in the communities where they are placed because of their visual dominance, the light pollution they give off, and the safety distractions they create. In August, we suggested a ban on digital billboards in main streets. However, an alternative would be to give choice to the affected Main Street district. The Main Street boards and their members, who are local business owners, are best positioned to determine whether a digital billboard would further the two Orlando growth management goals for main streets. 1, improving the neighborhood's image by improving its physical appearance and conveying a visual message about the unique sense of place. And 2, giving a competitive advantage to the Main Street districts to attract residents and vibrant businesses. Commissioner Ortiz said that we are here to do what the people ask us to do in our district. But in order for the people to ask, to tell their commissioners what they want, they must know what is going on. But at this time, there is no provision for notice of a proposed conversion to a digital billboard or for affected landowners or affected Main Street districts to be heard. Because of that, we propose that the city require notice to adjacent landowners and to the affected Main Street board and approval by the affected Main Street board before there can be a conversion from a static billboard to a digital billboard in that particular Main Street district. This required approval should not be without restraint. The city should require that the Main Street board respond within 45 days of notice of a digital billboard swap as to whether it approves the conversion or not. This should give reasonable timing between board meetings. If the Main Street board does not respond within 45 days of notice, they should be deemed to have waived their right to respond, and the billboard conversion can proceed through permitting. At the February council meeting, Mayor Dyer referred the matter of incentive billboards in Main Streets back to planning and to the planning board. We respectfully ask likewise that the matter of locating a digital billboard in a Main Street district be referred back to planning and the municipal planning board to consider a ban in Main Street districts, or in the alternative, notice to adjacent landowners and the board and consent or waiver by the affected Main Street board. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Huffman. Madam Clerk, I don't have any other cards. Is there any other members of the public?
That's all I have.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, the number 8 is the other ordinance that I mentioned this morning, that the applicant wanted to have it deferred. I didn't know the reason then, but I do now, because there is a companion developers agreement that is set for hearing on the September 26th meeting, and the applicant simply wanted both of the items to appear on the same council agenda. So, Madam Clerk, if you would read the item, we'll open it and then move to defer it.
Ordinance number 2022-53, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending and restating the land development regulations of the Lake Nona Plan Development Zoning District relating to certain land generally located north of the Orange Osceola County line, south of Dowden Road, east of Boggy Creek Road, and west of Narcoossee Road, and comprised of 9,044.20 acres of land, more or less, providing amendment of the city's official zoning map, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Make a motion to move to the next meeting of September 26th.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 9.
Ordinance number 2022-54, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to designate certain land generally located east of South Orange Avenue, south of Highway Place, and east of South Magnolia Avenue, comprised of 0.51 acres of land more or less, as mixed-use corridor medium intensity on the city's official future land use maps, designating the property as a medium-intensity mixed-use corridor zoning district with the Soto Special Plan Overlay District on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Burns. Madam Clerk, I have no cards.
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion, hearing none, will, all in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 10.
Ordinance number 2022-55, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to pools and screen enclosures, amending Chapter 58, Part 5B11, Land Development Code to amend setbacks for pools and screen enclosures, providing legislative findings, and for implementation, codification, correction, scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. I have no request to testify, so is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, let's move on to ordinances on first reading. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2022-41, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, rezoning certain land generally located south of West Princeton Street between Stanholme Way and Packing District Way, and comprised of 9.78 acres of land more or less, from plan development with the Wekiva Overlay District to plan development with the Wekiva Overlay District, providing a framework plan and a special land development regulations of the plan development district, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. I have no cards requesting to testify. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-56, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to development review committees, amending Chapter 65, Part 1 of the Land Development Code to revise and combine the development review committees, amending Chapter 62, 64, 65, and 68 Land Development Code to update references to a single development review committee, amending Chapter 2, Article 22 of the Orlando City Code to update references to a single development review committee, providing legislative findings, and for implementation, codification, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Burns. I have no cards. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-57, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to administrative official determinations, amending Chapter 65, Part 2 of the Land Development Code entitled Zoning Applications and Procedures, providing legislative findings, and for codification, corrections of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Burns. I have no cards. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Number 4 has been deleted, so that brings us to the conclusion of the official agenda. Ed, could you get us ready for general appearance, please?
See you at 5:01.